John, his wife Emily, and their young son Luke decided to go on a trip to a distant forest to enjoy the beauty of nature and spend some quiet time away from the noise of the city. The forest stretched out in lush greenery, with tall trees swaying in the gentle breeze and the sound of birds adding beauty and life to the place. After a long drive on rugged roads, they found a suitable spot to set up their tent and began preparing the area for an enjoyable evening. As the sun set, they lit a few small lanterns and prepared a simple dinner, sharing laughter and conversation around a small fire to keep warm. The atmosphere was calm, and the clear sky was decorated with stars. They talked about how beautiful the place was and how happy they were to have taken this trip. As darkness fell and the forest around them grew still, they suddenly heard the sound of heavy footsteps slowly approaching from between the trees, as if someone unfamiliar was wandering near their tent. A wave of fear gripped them for a moment, but John decided to check it out. He stepped out of the tent slowly, followed by Emily, who was anxious. As they moved through the shadows and trees, a young girl appeared before them, with long, dark hair and pale features. She held an old doll in her hands, and her clothes were slightly torn. She stood still, silently staring at them. John looked at Emily with confusion and fear, while the girl continued to gaze at them with a strange look, as if she knew them or was waiting for something from them. Without a word, the girl began to walk slowly through the trees, as though she wanted them to follow her. The couple felt a strange unease, but couldn't resist their curiosity, so they followed her through the darkness, passing dense shrubs and hearing mysterious whispers fill the air. Then suddenly, the girl vanished from sight among the thick shrubs, as if she had evaporated into thin air. John and Emily tried to find her, but her trail had faded into the darkness. When John and Emily returned to the tent after searching for that mysterious girl, they were shocked to find their son, Luke, missing. Panic took hold of them, their hearts racing as they called his name repeatedly without a response. Darkness surrounded them, and the forest grew more terrifying with its eerie silence. The couple decided to begin searching for their son in the middle of the night, wandering among the dense trees, holding on to each other tightly as their flashlight illuminated their path. But soon, the flashlight's batteries died, forcing them to return to the tent to grab the phone and a spare light. As they resumed their search, their exhaustion and despair were evident. The hopelessness of not finding Luke was overwhelming. But as they neared the tent again, they were met with an astonishing sight. Their son was asleep in his place as if nothing had happened. They rushed to wake him, and when he opened his eyes, he seemed perfectly normal. They picked him up immediately and hurried back to the car to escape from that horrifying place. While they were making their way through the forest, strange sounds began to rise around them. Whispers, footsteps following them, and trees shaking as if watching them. They paused every few steps to check, but there was nothing in sight. They quickly climbed into the car, and as they drove off, Emily glanced back and saw the mysterious girl standing in the road, watching them with a sinister smile. After they returned home, they tried to forget what happened, but 2 days later, strange behavior started to show in Luke. He began eating raw meat voraciously, walking around the house at night, laughing in a creepy way, while his parents watched him with shock and fear. By day, he acted normally, but one night, John woke up to the sound of footsteps in his room and found Luke standing beside his bed, holding a knife and appearing frenzied. Emily intervened quickly, and with her help, they managed to lock him in his room after a fierce struggle where he displayed unnatural strength. With the sunrise, they decided to take Luke to an experienced religious leader. As soon as Luke entered, he began screaming, his voice changing as he shouted, "Get me out of here! I will get my revenge on you." The religious leader understood that a demon possessed him and began reciting strong verses to expel it. The demon spoke to his parents in a hateful tone, saying, "I won't leave easily. You set up your tent in my place, and your son slept where my children sleep." The religious leader continued the ritual until the demon finally yielded and left after much effort, restoring Luke to his senses. The family returned to their home, and gradually, their lives returned to normal, but they had learned an unforgettable lesson about the forest and the dangers of trespassing into its hidden places.